Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I am potentially the biggest idiot I have ever seen. So, I just copied and pasted these and it's going at road entries. It was working fine. We just need to change road entries I to current hex. That's literally it. Oh man, that didn't take me that long when I was looking at it. It took me like 2 minutes, but I was like, wow, why did I not see that while recording? Now it should work fine. I mean, fine-ish. Things aren't going to be pointing the right direction. There's going to be lack of intersections. There's going to be problems, but it should be working fine-ish. Yeah. This is pretty much what I expected. This is basically correct. So what we have here is we have, interestingly, some different textures, it would appear, or something. I do want to take a quick look here and see what's going on with that. So, as we zoom way in here, I want to check what makes these roads appear different. So this road here, its material is road. Is it just based on angle of rotation? I think it's purely angle of rotation. That's fine. Okay, so we don't actually know which road is which right now, because it's kind of hard to tell. We're going to have to go through and do a rotation pass, and then an intersection pass. Maybe not necessarily in that order. But we're going to have... Yeah, definitely not in that order. But we're going to have to go through and do an intersection pass, and then a rotation pass, just to be able to know what's actually going on with these roads. So this road here appears to go here, 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 like that. This road appears to go like this, and then straight up this direction, and then I think it goes up here and then out like that. This road goes almost straight through, but it goes here, and then I think it goes up and around, and then straight through. Whereas this road here is kind of meandering. But yeah, this is good. So, the next issue, as we zoom out, you can see the roads are all still there. And that's okay-ish. Uh-huh. It seemed to work on this hex. But I'm noticing some significant gaps in these other hexes. They seem to be getting more significant the more we generate. Yeah, it seems to be going less and less, generating less and less. So, that's certainly interesting. And then this one generates less and less and less and less and less until finally we're not generating at all. Oh, we generated one here. Okay, so there's a couple of things. First, this is not necessarily the right way to do this. We probably want to do some object pooling with these roads, but for right now, we can always go back and do that sort of thing. I'm lazy and don't want to do it right now. So for right now, let's just go ahead and add ourselves into... We've already got a list of game objects for this very purpose. So every time we spawn a road, let's go ahead and add ourselves to the list. So buildings.add road. Okay. There we go. And then here, buildings.add road. Then, when we zoom out, we should probably... Let's see. Do we have it like a cleanup color here? Or color. A cleanup function? We don't appear to. And we probably should. So let's go ahead and create ourselves one. So, public void clean up sub hexes. Okay, and now that we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and say for each... do we want to do it that way? Probably not a for each. For int I equals 0. I is less than buildings.count I++. So we'll iterate through the list of buildings, and then for each building, we will say buildings I dot game object. Actually, we're going to just simply destroy. Buildings I dot game object. To do. Maybe use pooling instead? There we go. Okay. Now I have a nice to-do there that I can ignore for all of eternity. Fantastic. And then we'll also say buildings.clear. So we'll clear the list there. Now, when we're zooming out from the sub-hexes, we should probably go ahead and clear that up. So let's see here. Sub-hex manager, setting active to false. So here I'm going to say sub-hex manager. And I don't need that capitalized. There we go. We don't need the class, we need the object reference. And we're going to go ahead and say clean up sub-hexes. And I'm actually going to remove this and have the sub-hex manager deal with that. So set active, actually, this.gameObject.setActive false. Okay. So that's only on the base hexes right now. So we need to also do this on the subhex level. So when we are setting the sub-hexes to active false, we'll go ahead and clean up sub-hexes. Now we don't appear to know about the sub-hex manager. Oh, we just called it differently. Okay. There we go. So now it will do the same for subhexes, and theoretically for sub-hexes as well. Do we actually not need to do it here? I think we do. Clean up sub-hexes. Do we not know the sub-hex manager here? We don't. Okay. Private sub-hex manager. Sub-hex manager. And we'll go ahead and get this. Sub-hex manager equals GameObject.findGameObject with tag. Sub-hexes. We only need one game object, not multiple. Okay, dot get component sub-hex manager. Okay. Now we know about it. Sub-hex manager dot clean up subhexes. Okay. And now the question is, what's up with the roads? But we can manage that here in a moment. Like, what's up with the fact that it's generating fewer roads the more we go through? Okay. Now it's not generating any roads instantly. Interesting. Am I done sneezing? I think I'm done sneezing. Okay, let's get back to this. So, there are a couple of things. So, when we left-click on the sub-hexes, we are currently... classification equals water return, else if blah blah blah, yeah. If we click on the subhex over here, we should probably go ahead and clean up the subhexes before we do that. So we'll clean up the subhexes, turn it off, it'll turn itself back on, and then regenerate the buildings. So at this point, the roads will now theoretically turn off as we are moving around in the sub-hexes. And indeed they do. Excellent. We do still have some issues, to be sure. Okay. Like, for example, here. Did it really just not generate any roads at all? Yeah, it's generating fewer and fewer roads the more we ask it to generate, which is odd. And it's making me wonder if there is something I did in the sub-subhex manager here. Like, are we changing the number of road entries? Maybe we are. We shouldn't be. We're not removing anything from that list, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Let's see here. We've got our Vector 3 rot, blah blah blah. We instantiate our road entry. And then if I is less than or equal to 2, we're not using I at any other time. And we start at I equaling 0. This is a local variable. Wonder if it has to do with the seed that we're passing? Our neighbors don't seem to be changing, do they? Oh, come on. No, our number of neighbors appears to be about correct all the way through. Which is good, because we then don't need this debug. There we go. So the question now is, what is going on with that? Road prefab, blah blah blah, instantiate road prefab, current hex.transform.position. Well, the rotation is based off of Y. So I think for right now, we can just do quaternion.identity for here. Then it's generating from current hex.transform.position. So the question then becomes, what is happening with these hexes as we move around? Oh, okay, that's a little exciting. We have to remember that our rotation is actually quasi-important. So let's go ahead and use the prefab transform. Not convert from vector 3 to quaternion. Oh, right here, because rot is a vector 3. So let's instead use rota. What could go wrong? Quaternion rota. And we're going to use rota here. And let's see how that works for our rotation. That shouldn't theoretically change anything. Don't get me wrong. We should still see a decreasing number of roads. And indeed we do. For reasons that are currently unknown to me. But there's clearly a variable that is contained within the sub-subhex manager that is being modified. Now, what is that variable? I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. Okay, you want to know what it is? What we do is we check to see if current hex.building equals buildings.none. Current hex.building is then set to be buildings.road, but when we clean up the subhexes, we never clear the building assignment. So what we need to do is down here, we need to go ahead and do another list for int I, or rather another iteration through a list equals 0. I is less than, and in fact, I think we do need to declare it. I is less than subhexes is, I believe, what I called it. Yep, subhexes.count I++. So we need to iterate through the entire list and say subhexes I dot building equals buildings.none. And now it should work fine, because we're then clearing it every time we go through. That was the problem. I'm 100% certain. Okay, so let's go into this city here. Huh. All of this commercial. Okay, so, boom, 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 yeah. Now this is looking more like it. that was certainly the problem. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to figure out where intersections actually occur. So, what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to go ahead and create another building type. Instead of just being road, it's going to be intersection. So we're going to go ahead and create that. Remember to change generation if we put in more buildings because I'm lazy, right? But we are going to go ahead and do that. So if current hex.building equals buildings.none, then we do this. Else, there we go. If there is a building there already at this point, we can assume it's a road. However, but let's not assume that. So let's just say else if current hex dot, not current distance, current hex dot building equals buildings dot road. We're going to go ahead and change that to be, instead of buildings dot road, it's going to be current hex dot building equals buildings dot intersection. So now we know exactly where the intersections need to be. And then the question is, how are we going to define what road is what? Well, there is an easy way to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and in the sub-hex, I'm going to add in a... Do we need a private? No, we need a public variable. So public int on road equals, and we're going to default this to -1. So -1 indicates that it has not been assigned to a road. Okay, so then we go into our sub-hex manager, and in here we need to assign it to a road. So the road identity will be simply I. We'll have 0, 1, and 2. So then when we create a road there, I'm going to then go ahead and say something along the lines of... actually, yeah, this is fine. Now, I just thought of an issue, but we'll deal with that in just a moment. So first things first, let's go ahead and set up here. Let's go ahead and set current hex dot on road equal to I. Okay, now every time that we create ourselves a road instantiation down here, let's go ahead and say current hex.onRoad equals I. Now, intersections are going to be a bit special. However, that's fine. So the final road tile is not going to be assigned. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So, as of right now, let's go ahead and generate ourselves up a road system, that is. And there we go. We've got ourselves a road system. And now, in this road system, if I can get zoomed all the way in here, it's a very, very extensive zoom. Okay, so here we are. Let's get our road system here. We can see that this hex here is currently on road 0. However, this hex over here, this final hex, is on road -1 because it was not assigned a road. However, this hex here is on road 0. So we now know which road is which, is what I'm saying. So we can check our neighbors to see which roads we're adjacent to and position and instantiate accordingly. Instantiate a different type of mesh. That's something for another time, though. So for right now, we do still need to identify our final road entries. So if I is less than or equal to -2, we're doing all that. Else, we need to manually assign the on-road. So, we need to say road entries I dot on-road equals I minus 3. So if we are 3, it will be on road 0. If we're on 4, it will be on road 1. If we're on 5, it'll be on road 2. That's fine. So now all of our roads know what road they're on, except for our intersections. Our intersections are going to be a bit special. So we're going to have to figure out how exactly we determine what roads our intersections are on. And I think that those will be considered on road probably 4, which doesn't exist. It will be a bit of a special case. But let's find ourselves a quick, in our sub-hexes, let's find ourselves a quick intersection here. So road, none, road, 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 none, road, 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 none, road. Okay, where's an intersection? Oh, there's one. Okay, map hex 44. This guy right here is considered an intersection. So I think we will say that they are on road 4 and they'll just have to check their neighbors. Because an intersection is an intersection of everything that neighbors them, probably. Maybe. Maybe indeed. Well, if it's already a road, it's already been assigned one road. And then if another road comes in, we can then just add that road to a list, right? So let's go into sub-hexes and say public list of integers intersections equals new list of integers. Okay, so we've got ourselves a list of intersections here. And then in our sub-hex manager, we can then say something along the lines of we would need to say okay, we're going to need a couple of things here. If it's currently equal to a road, we know it's already been assigned a road. So we can then say current hex dot intersections dot add current hex dot on road. Okay, so we then add that in, and then we also say current hex dot intersections dot add, and we're going to say at that point we are going to say I. Okay, so it now knows both roads. However, there's a third case here. Else if current hex dot building, if our building is already an intersection, then all we need to do here is simply add in our current road. So current hex dot intersections dot add I. So that's all we need to do. If it's already an intersection, we just need to add in a third road. It can never be more than 3 roads that go into the intersection. So that's going to be kind of interesting to try to model. We'll have to have a bunch of edge cases and such. It's going to be kind of complex, and it's probably going to take quite a few episodes to get this road system working correctly. Okay, so let's find ourselves an intersection here. So we can see that this is a road, and let's find an intersection. Let's see. Come on. Oh, there's one. So this is an intersection between road 0 and road 2. And let's go ahead and jump over here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so now we know where our intersections are, and we also know where our roads are and what road is what. So the code knows, even if it looks like a giant mess, what all is supposed to be where. So we can go ahead and get ourselves rotations and corners going soon. So the question then becomes, can we ever rotate? Like, can a road enter here and exit here? I'm not sure it can currently. But we're definitely going to be needing road corners and detecting how to do that. Like, for example, this road here. This is on road 2, and then this here is also road 2, and then this here is also road 2, as is this and this. And then road 2 jumps up over here to this intersection. So road 2 goes here and bends, and then from here to here, so that is a sharp corner, and then bends from here to here, also a sharp corner, has a straightaway here, and then bends from here to here, a not sharp corner, and then there's an intersection here, which goes from here to here, as well as here to here. So it's a two-way intersection. Okay. Well, I think getting these intersections and these road corner types is something for next episode. So I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and like I said, next episode, we're going to be trying to clean up these roads a bit visually. See you all then.